How's it going, guys? I hope you guys having a great week. So it's Friday, guys, and obviously on Friday, as you know, I always upload a news-related video. Today, I actually want to take a little bit of time to talk about the PlayStation 5 reveal event and just generally what my thoughts and impressions were on it. I live streamed it last night at 9 p.m. To all those people that jumped in on the stream, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and it was awesome to have you there with me and sort of get a chat going and react to it together. It was a really fun evening. So I want to go through the stream and just generally give my thoughts and impressions on it, and also, you know, of course, how it compares to Microsoft's stream early on couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to give a blow by blow, you know, account of everything that happened, except to say there was a lot that was revealed. A lot of games were in this stream, but I'm going to talk about generally what I thought of the stream, and then a couple of the games that really interest me and what my general thoughts were on it, as well as on the design of the console, because obviously that was revealed last night. So let's get to it anyway. So there were a lot of games in this stream. There are actually I counted them. There are actually 26 games that were announced as part of the stream. I thought Sony did a really good job of showing a variety of, you know, different kinds of games, from big AAA titles, ones that we wanted to see, as well as some smaller indie studios. But they showed a nice variety of games, and the key thing they showed as well was gameplay. There was a lot more gameplay at this reveal than there had been obviously at Microsoft's Inside Xbox stream earlier on. So I actually really enjoyed the event. The event itself, originally they said it was going to last about an hour, but it actually ran over to about an hour 15 minutes, and I thought Sony did a really good job. I thought it was a really great event. It was kind of what I wanted to see. It was all about the games. There wasn't that much interviewing and talking, you know. I think the longest developers spoke was like 1 minute, and then it was just straight into the games, and that's really what it should be. If you've got good games, the games and the gameplay should really talk for themselves. And I always get a little bit nervous when, you know, you've got people interviewing developers and talking about the games, because that for me usually sends off warning bells. It usually, for me, I take that to mean you don't really have much to show for the game then, and you know, I don't like that. So I thought the way in which the stream was done was really good. I thought it was incredibly professional looking. I thought the quality was fantastic, from, you know, using really good quality cameras for, you know, certain key people, like for example Jim Ryan talking, different developers talking. The gameplay was great. The trailers were a nice segment of trailers, and then even the sound design and the music behind it was really good too. So I thought it was a very well put together streaming event. I thought it was very well done. Clearly a lot of time and a lot of effort had been put into it. It didn't feel like it was rushed. It felt like they'd really put a lot of thought into it. In comparison to sort of Microsoft stream, it was like, PlayStation's is like up here, and like, you know, Microsoft's is down here. For me, the Xbox Inside Xbox event felt like a cheap kind of thing that you just threw together. Like it was just sort of Zoom meetings, and here's our Zoom meeting between people at home in their kitchen talking to developers in their living room, and it just didn't come across as professional, and it felt really rushed and really sort of, you know, put together very rapidly. So hopefully Microsoft's next stream, their big one in July, which is going to focus on their first party studios, hopefully they'll take a leaf out of Sony's book, and hopefully that will be a lot more professional. This felt more in line to what we're used to with Nintendo and the Nintendo Directs. So I thought the style of the live stream was fantastic. It was very punchy. The pacing of this stream was excellent. It felt like it just went by so quickly, and I thought they did a really good job. So let's talk a little bit about the games and what I generally thought. There are 26 games in total. Now, some of those games I'm not massively interested. There were a couple of like smaller indie titles that looked weird and looked strange. But you know, I'm sure there'll be a market for that. Like Pragmata, I think that was a weird one. It gave me like sort of Death Stranding vibes. No idea what that game is, and it's not really my cup of tea, so I wasn't massively interested in that. There was another one called Goodbye Volcano High. it was like dinosaurs in high school and that kind of like teenage drama kind of thing of high school. I've got no idea what the game's about. Maybe it's some kind of dating simulator, but again, wasn't massively interested in that. So there were a couple that doesn't massively interest me, like 2K, NBA 2K 20, 2K20, 2K21, whatever. I no interest whatsoever. But there was only a small number that didn't interest me. Actually, the majority of the games in the stream I thought were really good and were really, really, really interesting. The big ones that have me super excited, and for me, make it worthwhile to purchase a PlayStation 5. These titles I would buy a console for, and I'm really looking forward to playing. And those obviously were Spider-Man Miles Morales. That got me super, super hyped. I totally freaked out when I saw that. Now, it's not going to be as big a game as the Spider-Man PS4 as far as we know. It's like a side story that focuses on Miles Morales, and I think it's designed to be like a transition into Spider-Man 2, where it is rumored that you can play multiple characters, including Peter Parker and Miles Morales as well. So I feel like this is maybe kind of like Uncharted Lost Legacy, in that it'll be, its own self-contained game. But it won't be as long, it won't be as expansive as, say, Uncharted 4 was compared to Lost Legacy. But it does add more into that world, and it does give you more in terms of the story. So if it's like Lost Legacy, I thought that was really great game. It was good value for money because it was at a discounted price, and it was a good length, and I really, really enjoyed it. So if it's anything like Lost Legacy, I'll be happy with that. Godfall, we got to finally see some gameplay for that. That is obviously Gearbox's loot melee game, online game. It looks cool. We got to see some of the gameplay, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more on customization, sort of that idea of what kind of loot can you get, what does it look like, how can you make your character look really different and customizable. We also don't know much about the world and the lore. Is there going to be a story campaign to it? How are we going to get to explore that world and that lore? We don't really know too much about that, but obviously this was just to sort of whet our appetite, and I do anticipate that we are likely probably to get some kind of Sony state of play, which maybe might just focus purely on Godfall, particularly with that being a launch title. Both of those games that I just mentioned, by the way, are launch titles, so they will be coming out in holiday 2020. Out of all the launch titles though, really, those are the only two that I'm interested in coming out when the PlayStation 5 is released. The other two was Jet the Far Shore, which looked really weird. It was like not really No Man's Sky. It was like a darker No Man's Sky, kind of an indie title where these weird people in like hoods seem to be going to other planets and exploring other planets or something like that. That Bug Snacks, which looked really weird. Not really my cup of tea either. And then obviously NBA 2K21. Those are also released titles, but the only ones really that interest me are Spider-Man, Miles Morales and Godfall. So if those are the only two titles coming out, I don't know if they're going to be strong enough to encourage people to buy that PlayStation 5 on release. I don't personally think that they are. I think they could do with another hard hitter, something else, possibly to come out with it. And there were a couple of other titles that I feel would have met that bill. So we got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That looked amazing. That looked really, really good. I'm a massive fan of Ratchet and Clank, and I really, really enjoyed the remake on the PlayStation 4. I had a lot of fun playing it. Really enjoyed it. It was really good, and it was kind of cool to sort of see how the SSD for the PlayStation 5 is really being used, and it's kind of amazing really if it works the way that they're saying. Is they're creating rifts that can load into other levels and other planets, other areas almost instantly, and it was really cool to sort of see that. And they showed a bit of like ray tracing on Clank's shell and that kind of thing, so it was really cool. I really enjoyed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I thought that was really, really cool. Gran Turismo 7, I'm not a massive fan of racing games, but I know that's going to have a lot of people hyped, for Gran Turismo, and it looked really, really beautiful. Returnal looked really interesting too. It was this kind of like horror action game, and this idea of there's an astronaut that keeps landing on this planet, and you keep reliving the first few days of landing on this planet where she ultimately dies, and it very much gave me vibes of Control, this kind of horror action, weird supernatural kind of thing. You're fighting monsters and you're trying to uncover a mystery. It definitely gave me elements of Control, and it looked quite interesting, so that was quite cool too. We also got Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I haven't really played any of the Little Big Planet games, but I am excited about the whole full player co-op. I think that would be a lot of fun to play with your friends, so that would be really cool. The games that really excited me, one of them was Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which looked really cool. I loved the animated style of it. We got to see some gameplay as well, where you've got this like magical staff, which you can turn into a magical bow, which is awesome. The world looked incredible. It looked gorgeous. It looked beautiful, and it's a brand new IP, and it just looked really cool. So that's another game that I'm very interested in. Little Devil Inside as well. That was another indie title which looked really cool. I don't know what it is, but it's like we got to see this old guy, and then this younger guy was like kind of Zelda-esque, fighting monsters and exploring the world and that kind of thing. And the humor was really good. It was just a really well cut together trailer, and the music was great. That it just looked really intriguing, and it's a game I'm definitely interested in picking up and playing. Demon Souls as well is another one that I know many people will be excited about, particularly if you're a fan of Soulsborne games. Apparently that is the very first Souls-esque game, and apparently it was one of the most difficult ones on the PlayStation 3. I think it was a launch title for the PS3, so I think that would be really cool on the PlayStation 5. I'm surprised it's not a launch title. I mean, we've not had any confirmed release dates, for these games at the moment. And then obviously we got some other really big announcements too. So the Resident Evil 8, that looked really cool. Continuing on that kind of first person esque, style that we got with Resident Evil 7. We got to see as well a really random game called Stray, which is set in this world where humans have died and there's cats and robots, so that looked intriguing. We didn't get to see any gameplay. That was obviously just predominantly cinematic kind of scenes. And then we actually got to see gameplay for Ghostwire Tokyo as well. And that game was not what I was expecting. I was not expecting it to be so action focused. I was expecting it more to be like a supernatural horror kind of stealth game where you're trying to like discover what's going on, but also hide from these kind of monsters and these kind of premonitions. But it was much more action heavy horror. So it was not what I was expecting. I mean, you can do these cool like finger signs type thing, and finger foo I called it. But yeah, I mean that looked really interesting. So that was kind of cool too. But the big one that's got me super excited, of course, is Horizon 2 Forbidden West. That game has got me super hyped. I am so excited to continue on Horizon. Obviously, I played Zero Dawn, which for me was one of the best games I played this year. I consider it to be one of the best new IPs of this generation, and it's an incredible game, incredible story. The gameplay is amazing, and yeah, Horizon 2 just sounds really cool. And we get to jump back into the shoes of Aloy. We get to continue on the story and continue on that story from the first game, and this time Aloy is actually going to push west into the Forbidden West, and it looks like we're going to get introduced to new machines to hunt. We're going to get to explore underwater areas as well from the looks of it, which is really cool, and it just looks really gorgeous. So that definitely is probably one of the biggest titles for me that I'm most excited about. We only got to see a cinematic trailer. We didn't get to see any gameplay, which I would have liked to have seen. That would have been really cool, but maybe we're just not there yet. Maybe it's still too early to show some proper gameplay, and maybe Sony want to keep that for its own self-contained state of play, possibly, where they can really give it the attention that it needs and it deserves. So there were a lot of really good games. I mean, out of all those games that were announced, and there were 26 games in total, not many of them were actually given release dates, and that was kind of one of the things I had a slight issue with. Most of the big ones like Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Returnal, Sackboy, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, Little Devil Inside, Demon Souls, Horizon 2, none of these have release titles, guys, so we don't know when these games are coming out. We don't know how far along they are in terms of development. It could be a couple of years before these games are actually released on the PlayStation 5, and that has me a little worried, because Sony does have a history of really kind of having weak launches, you know, particularly with the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. It wasn't really until it hit its second or third year that it really started to hit the ground running and really started to pick up steam. So yeah, I'm a little concerned, obviously, that out of those launch titles, there's only really two that interest me, which is the Spider-Man game and Godfall. I think they need a third big hitter, so I think Ratchet and Clank would be a good one. That would be a great one for them to release. I think as well the Demon Souls would be a good one, because there's quite a large interest in that as well. We're nowhere near Horizon, so I'm not surprised if that isn't a launch title. But I think only having those two, I think they need something else. You know, I feel like they do need something else. I guess we'll have to wait and see, obviously, what Microsoft bring to the table in July with their next live stream. And then the last big thing that obviously got announced and revealed during the live stream was we actually got to see what the PlayStation 5 is going to look like. And I really like it. I really like the design. I think it's a sleek design. It's very nice. I actually prefer it to the Microsoft Series X. The Series X for me just doesn't really do anything for me aesthetically. It just looks like a brick. It doesn't really do much for me, that. It looks like a blocky PC tower. So I really like the sleek design of the PlayStation 5. I like the offshoot of the white with the black. I think that really complements it. I really like the blue sort of LED sort of lights that we've got going through it. I am a little concerned about the possibility of it collecting dust. I think that could be an issue, particularly around sort of the white bits as well. And obviously, whether or not this console, I think we can sit it horizontally, but whether or not we should probably sit it vertically because of the way that the stand is. Hopefully there'll be lots of airway and good fans. Hopefully the console is going to be really powerful, so you definitely want a good cooling system. I would like the console to be quieter as well, and we did get more information on peripherals as well. So we got to see a camera, we got to see a controller charging station. Hopefully the life for the PlayStation 5 controllers will be much better than the PS4 controllers, which do lose battery fairly quickly. That can sometimes be an issue when you're trying to play online or you're trying to play for extended periods of time. And then we also got to see a remote controller as well, because the PlayStation 5 will have a 4K Blu-ray disc as well. And there will actually be two versions of the PlayStation 5, so a digital version and a disc version as well. For me personally, I'm probably going to go for the disc version just because I prefer to physically own the games. And sometimes the PSN store does have issues with download. It can be quite slow. It can take quite a while for it to download games, especially if it's on Wi-Fi. But I like the style of it. I like the design of it, and I'd be definitely interested to hear what you guys think on the design of the PlayStation 5. So overall, I really enjoyed the stream. I thought Sony did a great job. I thought they hit the ball right out of the court. It was kind of a home run, not complete home run, but it was good. It was solid. There were lots of games featured. There was gameplay, which was good too. I feel like maybe they took that to heart with the backlash that Microsoft got, where they sort of said they showed gameplay, but it wasn't really gameplay. These were trailers, but they definitely had snippets of gameplay and some quite nice segments of gameplay. We got to see a good segment of gameplay on Ratchet and Clank. We got to see gameplay segment on Gran Turismo 7, on the Returnal, which was cool. Sackboy, A Big Adventure, showed gameplay as well. Destruction All-Stars showed kind of gameplay as part of the trailer. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits had gameplay in there too. So there was a lot of really good segments of gameplay. So overall, really happy, really impressed with what they've done. I think Microsoft will really need to step up their game now. I think they will really need to do so. And it's all going to depend on July. It's going to depend on what games they show, what games their first party studios are working on, and what they bring to the table. And obviously we still don't know yet what the price point is going to be for the PlayStation 5 and also for the Xbox Series X. So it will be interesting to see what the price point is going to be. I would not be surprised if Microsoft go the way of a digital and disc version as well, and maybe the digital version is slightly cheaper. Same with the PlayStation 5, but we'll have to wait until July to see, obviously, what Microsoft announced. And then I would expect that once Microsoft has announced their price point, Sony probably will then commit to their own price point. And then I guess the pre-orders will begin for people to pre-order to get their hands on the console when it comes out in holiday 2020. Yeah. Good presentation. I thought Sony did a really good job, and those were generally my thoughts on it. So what did you think of the presentation? Let me know, please. Share in the comment section below what your thoughts are on it. What games are you most looking forward to? What games are you excited about? What did you like about the presentation? And what would you like to see from, say, Microsoft in July? And is there anything else that you'd like to see from Sony? Please share in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, please support the channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.